In the United States, Mardi Gras started here in Mobile, not New Orleans.
So if you're moving to LA, then there's a few things you're gonna wanna know before living here. In fact, we compiled a list of those things you don't know about that you're gonna wanna know when living right here in Lower Alabama.
Lower Alabama is one of the best places to live when it comes to the economy, weather, housing, and just downright good people and Southern charm.
Okay, I get you have your own take on this, so today we're gonna break it down for you and give you the real facts on what's going on in Lower Alabama.
That's right, we're going through the real things that you must know before moving to Baldwin County in Lower Alabama. Believe it or not, LA isn't for everybody, and we're keeping it real, so don't go anywhere. All right, so the first topic we're talking about is the changing culture in Baldwin County. We've been getting a lot of comments under our videos from frustrated locals. So we're going to try to explain where this is likely coming from and what you can do to help the situation. So with explosive growth, we've been seeing a lot of really amazing changes and improvements to our cities in the Baldwin County area, but we're also seeing some not so positive changes. Southern Alabama has always had a reputation for Southern hospitality, and it's still very much like that, but we're starting to see more and more rude, inconsiderate behavior as well, like cars honking for absolutely no reason. And yes, honking is considered rude here in the South. People leaving shopping carts all over parking lots, trash being left out at our beaches, and people not holding doors for other people. The list goes on. And while people in LA generally have a perception of being really polite and nice and friendly, those are just some of the changes we have been seeing around here.
Personally, I've always appreciated what a great culture shock it was for moving here from the Midwest. So if you're moving from a place like the Midwest, it's gonna be a shock for you too. If you're coming from out of state, realize people that live here may behave a little bit differently than what you're coming from. So what can you all do to help the situation? Well, for starters, don't be judgy and don't trash talk people that are from the area locally or that have been living here a very long time. And when a traffic light goes from red to green, please don't honk at the person in front of you. And if you're not an LA native, please remember people come here from all walks of life, and we're coming from all parts of the country and really all over the world. So growth and change is inevitable, and we just all want to get along.
Get along, little doggies, get along, get along. Get along, little doggies, get along.
Okay, next thing we're going to talk to you guys about is how you can't buy liquor in a grocery store. So people are always shocked when they move here and they find out that you can't just go to the grocery store and buy liquor off the shelves. Liquor store is only sold in government-owned ABC stores, and those stores are also closed on Sundays. So if you're wanting to buy liquor, plan ahead and buy it Monday through Saturday.
I'd say plan ahead and buy it in Pensacola so you save on sales taxes.
True that, but you can buy beer or seltzers at grocery stores, but for vodka, whiskey, tequila, or anything else you like, you're not getting it unless you go to an actual liquor store.
The next topic to talk about is gonna be traffic. It gets really bad, and yes, it's all relative, I guess, where you're coming from, but it's really a lot busier here traffic-wise, and it's really bad from other people's perspectives because the population is growing, and on top of that, we don't have the best drivers here in the first place, and our roads are a little confusing. They bend and they wind, so like I said, they just, I don't know, they confuse me. So you can imagine that makes for a really difficult mix as you're trying to get from point A to point B. Our friends who were born and raised here say they usually like drivers from out of state because they aren't just given their driver's license when they turn 16 like it is here. All you have to do here is show that you're enrolled in school, pay their fees, and boom, now you're a licensed driver.
I have my license!
But some people drive like they never had any schooling or training before. Even if they have, and it shows, but I guess it, all depends.
Yeah, I would have loved that as a teenager because I had to go to private school for my license, and then I had to have like 12 months of driving hours and then go sit at the DMV, and it was just a major process that took forever.
She still needs driving lessons.
Whatever. And down here, it seems to be a lot easier. I'm just not looking forward to our daughter driving in 2 years.
Yeah, no, I'm not looking forward to high school.
The fact that it's easier to get your driver's license down here, I would prefer it to be a little bit harder because I am not ready to see that girl behind the wheel. She can't even walk without falling. Imagine her driving.
I've literally seen her walk and while chewing bubble gum, but dropping the bubble gum, tripping, and I'm like, dude, you're doing too much.
She's a mess. She has zero coordination. She's like
down.
A 14-year-old with
Either
two left feet.
Sit and chew or just walk. You don't do both.
Well, bless her heart. And ours, because she's going to be driving in 2 years.
I'm looking for her. I'm like, she's going to run up on me right now.
Second, it's not my
Okay, but anyways, our next topic is Mardi Gras. So this is something you need to know. In the United States, Mardi Gras started here in Mobile, not New Orleans. we get credit for creating Mardi Gras in America. Ask any citizen of Mobile, Alabama, and they'll be quick to tell you that the first carnival floats rolled down here right in our streets. Mardi Gras is about parades filled with colorful floats. It's about catching plastic beads and moon pies and all these other treasures that are tossed out by the float. And it's about the dances and the balls where men dress in tuxes and women wear the most elegant gowns, and carnival royalty wears crowns and waves like legit scepters. Is that what they're called? Scepters? Yeah. And it's about drinking and eating before Ash Wednesday, when everyone embraces the tradition of giving up a pleasure for the 40 days of Lent.
You can find parades everywhere from the heart of Mobile all the way down to Gulf Shores and Orange Beach. Each town has their own little parades, and it's so much fun for the kids, and it's a good way to go out and just hang out with your neighbors or friends. I've never been to a bad parade, rain or shine. It's just a good time. Always.
It's really a sight to see, and it's a tradition that's been going on in Mobile since 1703. Can you think about that? That's over 300 years. So that's something you definitely have to see. Even if you're not going to participate, it's worth going to and checking out.
You have to participate.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I can't not. Living in a town with the traditions is something that's super wholesome to us, and it's a chance for everyone to come together and get out and enjoy something fun. And the anticipation just building up to it is just as enjoyable, because houses and stores and restaurants and school classrooms, they all decorate and get into this like amazing Mardi Gras spirit.
Okay, moving on from that, because we'll easily go on forever. Let's move on to food. I need to tell you about one of my favorite restaurants.
Which one is it, Tony? He loves every restaurant. Every restaurant.
You don't know what I'm gonna say?
Dragonfly, bluegill, Moe's.
It has some banging tacos, tuna fish, shrimp, fish, you name it. Then you wash it down with some sweet tea. Let's go.
You didn't even name the restaurant, Tony.
I know, because I'm building it up and I'm excited. The Gulf in Orange Beach is a restaurant centered around like shipping containers, and it includes recycled, reclaimed, and salvaged like building materials. So it has a vibe like no other, and it's right on the beach. Well, kinda. It's on the water, but you can't beat it either way.
No, you can't. He's not lying. It's for sure a place you need to check out for casual dining, right on the sandy beach overlooking the Gulf. Eating seafood down here is addictive. I don't know what they put in it, but just talking about it, like, I'm ready to go to the Gulf. And since Tony mentioned sweet tea, so you know, if you're out at a restaurant and you ask for sweet tea, please know 9 times out of 10 you're going to get sweet tea. It's going to be sweet.
Blood sugar level is high. 570.
So if you're not prepared for super sugary sweet tea, you might want to ask for unsweet or half and half.
Or just be prepared. And speaking of half and half, not only is it just half and half, you can get half and half where it's half lemonade, half sweet tea, or they can spike it with booze. And every place that I go to, when I say half and half, they said, do you want it with alcohol or without alcohol? So it's like, just
they already know
expect
down
it.
here.
They know what the deal is. They know the drill.
And adding to that, half and half is the phrase for half sweet, half unsweet. To me, sweet tea down here in the South is sort of like Shirley Temples in the Midwest. So if you're from the North, then you might call them kitty cocktails. Either way, it's a Sprite with a splash of grenadine and a couple cherries. This was my drink growing up, and my kids have been ordering them since they were babies. But now we're all about the sweet tea, and oh my gosh, it is so good down here. I have my favorite spots to get it at, and number one is definitely Moe's. They have their sugar to tea ratio just like on point. They've got it down.
One last restaurant, well, fast food joint actually, that I need to mention in this video is Chick-fil-A. I know they're all over and they're everywhere, but it's a religion down here in Southern Alabama. And if you come here to an area like this, just think about it as like an In-N-Out burger if you're coming from California, or like Portillo's if you're coming from Chicago. They have long lines, everyone is waiting, and except burgers or Italian beefs, you're getting chicken. And the service is phenomenal. There's always like 15 people working. You really gotta check it out. I definitely recommend it.
Yeah, oh my god, Chick-fil-A, mac and cheese, chicken, waffle fries, all mixed together with buffalo sauce. That's been my biggest pregnancy craving, and I literally drag him there at least 3 times a week for lunch. I can't eat a lot right now, and that's like one of the things that I love.
And there's a reason why in the South we call Chick-fil-A God's chicken, because it's literally the best Just ask anyone.
Yeah, it is. Okay, next thing I want to mention before we forget, and it's not food related. Well, I guess it can be depending on where you're from or who you are, but it's the snake. So copperhead specifically. This is the most frequently encountered venomous snake in Alabama.
Yeah, so if you're a golfer like me, don't go looking for your ball in the woods, or be very careful here, because this is not a chance you want to take. Copperheads are less venomous than most other venomous snakes, but they do need to be taken seriously. They can be found anywhere, including residential areas. However, you're most likely going to see them near the woods or near the water, and it's unlikely that their bites are fatal, but they can be for your pets, so make sure you watch out for them.
We hear all the time about people's dogs that have been bitten by copperheads, but dogs do tend to handle the bites a little bit better than humans do. Usually a dose of Benadryl is all they need and a trip to the vet, but if you don't catch it in time, then yeah, it could be fatal. We've found a 4-foot snake right in our backyard, so they're definitely close to home. I've seen them slithering across the street while driving too, so just be aware. Living here, you're going to be surrounded with a lot of different wildlife that you might not be used to.
The next topic to tell you all about is the internet. So we are pretty lucky because we have a lot of areas that have fiber internet, but we also have pretty slow internet because there are a lot of rural areas here too. Besides fiber, you can find cable and satellite, and if you're lucky enough to only have satellite, be warned, because you can't stream a bunch of shows or surf the internet like you're probably used to.
Oh, Debbie.
But luckily, there are quite a few neighborhoods who are moving towards fiber. We're one of the few cities in the entire country that they have it in. So things are getting much better depending on where you live. But be aware that internet can be slow in a good bit of the rural areas that we have here. So until they're really established, just
Be prepared.
Yeah. Be
Yeah,
prepared.
and on the topic of internet, let's touch on cell phone service really quick. So cell phone service down here is not that great. We've tried AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, and to be honest, all three are kind of like subpar.
Okay, and I'd say because AT&T works really well in some places, and then Verizon works really well in some places, and so does T-Mobile. But
Right.
it's not like they're all
Yeah.
on the same.
So for example,
tower
at
for
our
some
house,
reason.
I never get 5 bars, and I hover between like 4G and 5G. And then our friends actually live on like 20 acres in like kind of like the country, and for whatever reason I get 5G there.
Yeah.
And I have no issues. But when I talk to them from my house and they're on their phone, and I think they have Verizon, they can never, the phone calls always drop. They can never hear me. They're always cutting in and out, and so I have T-Mobile. So
But I have AT&T, and at our house, my AT&T works fine. But when I go to our friend's place, it doesn't work.
yeah,
So,
I don't know. And then
I'm
other
telling
people
you.
like do T-Mobile. There's so many towers here. There's a lot of T-Mobile stores popping up. That's the way to go. But I have T-Mobile, and at home, no.
Nothing.
Oh, Skeeter. They're coming after me. So yeah, I don't know. If you have a question about what cell phone provider to use, those are basically 3 to choose from. They're all the same in my opinion. All right, the next thing we're going to briefly touch on is the homeless population. We're in no way trying to disrespect the homeless population, but you should know what the situation is like here in Mobile and Baldwin County. The homeless population is visibly decreasing, but you can see people camped out on some street corners. It's nothing like what you're seeing in a lot of other parts of the country, like California, but it's still an issue here. National homeless statistics show a downward trend in Alabama. The news recently reported that they found 505 homeless people in Baldwin and Mobile counties. Nationally, volunteers counted 500,000 homeless people nationwide, so that's a very small dent, but a dent nonetheless. There are several organizations in the community that actually help the homeless and get them into shelters, but it's something that you might want to know about.
It's not that bad. The next topic you need to know about is college sports. So college sports are a really big deal in Alabama. So we have 3 teams here in Lower Alabama, and that's Alabama, Roll Tide, then you got Auburn, War Eagle, and then you got Southern Alabama Jaguars. So when you're here, you need to pick a team, and you need to pick a tribe out of that. You know what I mean? Like, hold on to that. Obviously, SEC teams are the elite, but the Sun Belt Conference is no joke either. And know that in some time of the year, probably football season, you're not going to be hearing from some of your neighbors, depending on who they're rooting for. That means you, Jason. But just know Alabama is going to be the better of the 2 teams when it comes to Alabama and Auburn. So be prepared for it. And we still have people who like their pro teams, but it's these 3 college teams that are really, really a big deal down here. I personally went to the University of Illinois, and if you think your team is a big deal in the Big 10 or the Big 12, just be ready, because it's a real big deal here. When either team wins a big game, you'll see people out starting big bonfires in the streets, blocked off around sports bars, and people just having, you know, a ton of fun. It's just a big giant party, and I can't stress enough, it's a big deal. I tell people, when you think of the Super Bowl parties that you're used to, just imagine that every single Saturday home game.
Yeah, it's even a lot of fun for me, and I don't really have any idea what's going on during most of the game. I just love that sports bring everyone together, and it's like celebrating a holiday every Saturday. We get to host big parties and cook or cater like really good food. Dressing up and repping your team is also a blast too. I love it, my kids love it. It's everywhere you go down here. I can't wait for football season to kick off. But okay, let's move on to something a little less exciting, and that's the resentment from some of the locals here. You may have heard the term "Don't California my Alabama," or "Don't California my Florida," or "Don't California my Texas." And if you spent any amount of time reading the comments from some of our previous videos, you probably know this phrase that I'm talking about.
It just happened in one of our videos today.
It's basically coming from people who are frustrated, and rightfully so, because they feel people are relocating here to turn Alabama into that state that they left. A lot of the sentiment is coming from cultural changes that we mentioned earlier, but a lot of it is based on economic reasons as well. People that were born and raised here are starting to get priced out of areas because so many people are moving here, and this demand is crazy and it's driving up home prices. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't come here, but just be sensitive to the locals who are experiencing major changes in what was once a very small, intimate community.
On to the next one. Let me tell you about the crazy things that happen when we could potentially be getting snow around here. So here at the lower part of Alabama, you rarely get ice or snow. I'm telling you, it will very rarely happen. But if we do get something, everything shuts down. And the first time it happened, I thought it was only a public sector like closing down, because private businesses usually need to make money to stay in business. But nope, they shut down too. And I remember when I was working at the Army Corps building in Mobile, it closed because of snow. So I was just all sorts of excited, right? I get the day off, there's no snow, I can easily drive around, you know, there's less traffic, so I can get to where I need to go. So I went to get a coffee at a local coffee shop, and it was closed. So then I went to another spot, and it was closed too. And I'm thinking, you gotta be kidding me. We used to drive in like feet of snow.
Yeah.
So if you're lucky enough to benefit from a snow day here, just do some house chores.
Yeah, it's not like a snow day fun day. It's like it's a snow day, you're stuck inside because everything is closed. You're not going to be able to, you know, play hooky from work and go out, grab some breakfast or some lunch, go shopping, you know, do something fun. No, you're just staying home, isolated, watch a movie, stay in your jammies.
Yeah, and there's no snow on the ground.
Yeah, no. The next topic we need to talk about is our home prices. And we've talked about this a little bit in some previous videos, but just be aware our population is increasing and it's driving up demand for homes. And it's sometimes very difficult to find somewhere to live. You have to be very competitive. Now, if it's a property that's been overpriced or it's been sitting on the market for a little while, or it needs a little TLC, you have a fighting chance, but be prepared to be in a multiple offer situation for a home that's highly desirable, because just like you, people want to move to our beautiful states. So there you have it. Those are just some things off the top of our heads about Mobile and Baldwin County, Alabama, that you may not have known about. If you took anything at all from this video, do us a favor, y'all, and hit that like and subscribe button. And we do hope you got a little bit of value out of this video, or maybe we entertained you a bit with some of our stories.
And if you have any questions at all about the area, about jobs, schools, or if you're moving here, we're local realtors in Mobile and Baldwin County, and we're here to help you. So just give us a call if you want to talk about it. We hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to check out our others if you haven't, and please like and subscribe to our channel. It helps us, so we just want to help you.
Yeah, and we're dropping new videos every single week, so we hope to see you in the next one.
Later.